The message glowed on my phone screen, stark and accusatory. Your mother has been stealing from Thompson & Co. for years. Check the offshore accounts. My name is Mary, and until 10 minutes ago, I was having a perfectly normal Tuesday at the office. Now my hands wouldn't stop shaking as I read the text for the 20th time. The number was blocked, the words were simple, but they threatened to unravel my entire world. I called my father immediately. Dad, we need to talk. Now. Mary, what's wrong? You sound... Your office. Please, it's important. The walk to his corner office felt like crossing a minefield. Every step brought another memory. Mom's designer clothes, the vacation home in Aspen, James's private school tuition. The math wasn't adding up anymore. Dad looked up from his desk when I entered, his reading glasses perched on his nose, surrounded by stacks of quarterly reports. The same office where he'd taught me to count change when I was 6, where he'd given me my first job filing papers at 14. Someone sent me this. I thrust my phone at him. His face changed as he read. Not surprise, I realized with a punch to the gut. Recognition. Sit down, sweetheart. You knew? The words came out like broken glass. He removed his glasses, rubbing the bridge of his nose. It's complicated. Complicated? She's stealing from you, from us. Your mother, she has expensive tastes, always has. He sighed, suddenly looking every day of his 52 years. When we separated, there were arrangements made. Arrangements? Dad, that's not an arrangement, that's theft. Mary? Does Robert know? Does her precious new husband have any idea she's still bleeding you dry? Dad's silence was answer enough. I paced the office, past the family photos he still kept on the walls. Mom smiling at my high school graduation before she left us for Robert Mitchell and his corner office at a rival firm. Before she had James, and built her perfect new life, funded by money she apparently never stopped taking from us. Why didn't you stop her? Because she threatened to take you. His voice cracked. Back when you were still a minor. Said she'd fight for full custody, drag everything into the open. The company couldn't have survived the scandal. You wouldn't have survived the custody battle. I stopped pacing. I'm not a minor anymore. No, he agreed quietly. You're not. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number. Proof in the Cayman accounts. Password. James Robert 2008. She named the account after them, I said, my voice hollow. Her new family. Dad reached for the phone, but I pulled it back. Don't. I'm handling this. Mary, please, let it go. We've managed... Managed what? To let her win? To watch her parade around town with her perfect new life while she bleeds you dry? I could feel years of buried resentment bubbling to the surface. She left us, Dad. Left you to raise me alone while she played happy families with Robert and James, and now I find out she's been stealing from us the whole time? It's worth everything. I straightened my spine, feeling steel replace the shock in my system. I'm not that scared little girl anymore, and you're not her victim. This ends now. What are you going to do? I looked at the family photos one last time, at my mother's perfect smile and manicured hands. I'm going to make her pay, not just the money, everything. Dad slumped in his chair. She's still your mother. No, I said, turning toward the door. She's my first target. The Cayman account's password worked like a key clicking into place. Each transaction record felt like another betrayal, neat rows of numbers that told an ugly story. I'd been up all night, tracking the money trail, watching it flow from Thompson & Co. into my mother's hidden accounts. My office door creaked open. I brought coffee, Dad said, setting a steaming cup on my desk. His eyes flickered to my computer screen. Found anything? Everything. I turned the monitor toward him. Look at the dates. The first transfer was 2 weeks after James was born. Then bigger amounts when he started private school. Christmas bonuses that never existed. Fake vendor payments. She's been bleeding us for 15 years. Dad's hand trembled as he reached for his own coffee. Mary, I know you're angry. This isn't anger. I pulled up another spreadsheet. This is methodical. See these transfers? They match exactly when she took James to Europe last summer, while you were taking out a second mortgage on your house. The mortgage wasn't to keep the company afloat during COVID. I know. I stood up, pacing, because she was still taking her cut even then, even when we almost went under. My phone buzzed. A text from James. Hey sis, Mom's acting weird. Says you're spreading lies about her. What's going on? She's already playing defense, I muttered, showing Dad the message. He's just a boy, Mary. Don't drag him into this. She already did that. I typed back, family dinner tomorrow? We need to talk. James replied instantly. Mom says she's too busy. Of course she is. I grabbed my coat. I'm going over there. Mary, wait. No more waiting. I was already halfway to the elevator. 15 years is enough. The drive to my mother's house felt surreal. The gates opened automatically. She'd never bothered to remove my access code. Her Mercedes sat in the circular driveway next to Robert's Range Rover. Such nice cars for such dirty money. James opened the door before I could knock. At 15, he was already taller than me, gangly and uncertain in that teenage way. Mom's in her office, he said, then lower. She's been making calls all morning. Damage control, I said, squeezing his shoulder as I passed. Stay close, okay? Mom's office door was closed. I could hear her voice, that fake sweet tone she used when she was cornering someone. Robert, darling, Mary's just confused. You know how emotional she gets. I pushed the door open. She sat at her white desk, perfectly coiffed as always, phone to her ear. Her eyes widened when she saw me. I'll call you back, she said quickly, hanging up. Mary, what a surprise. I was just calling Robert to poison him against me? I dropped a stack of printouts on her desk. Before he sees these? She didn't touch the papers. Whatever you think you've found. I found everything. I leaned forward, planting my hands on her desk. Every transfer, every fake invoice, every dollar you stole from Dad while playing happy families with your new husband and son. Careful, Mary. Her voice went cold. You're making accusations you can't take back. Can I? The password to your Cayman account is James Robert 2008. Want to explain that to Dad's lawyers? Something flickered in her eyes. Fear, maybe. Good. You wouldn't dare! It would destroy the company, your father's legacy. Don't! My voice shook. Don't pretend you care about his legacy. You've been destroying it for 15 years. Mom? James stood in the doorway, face pale. What's she talking about? Nothing, sweetheart. Her mask slipped back on. Adult problems. Why don't you... Show him, I said. Show him the papers. Show him where his private school tuition really came from. Show him how you funded his perfect life. Get out. She stood up, hands trembling. Get out of my house. Your house? I laughed. The one Dad's company paid for? That house? Mom? James's voice cracked. Is it true? She turned to him, reaching out. James, darling. He stepped back. The hurt in his eyes mirrored what I'd felt at his age, watching her walk away from us. Just tell me the truth, for once. Her silence was answer enough. I gathered the papers, leaving one sheet behind, a summary of all her transfers. Family dinner tomorrow, I said. Everyone, or these go to the police. I walked out, hearing James's footsteps follow me. Behind us, for the first time in my life, my mother had nothing to say. The family dinner table stretched before me like a battlefield. Robert sat at one end, his usual cheerful demeanor replaced by a granite-faced silence. Dad occupied the other end, hands clasped tightly around his water glass. James slumped in his chair, picking at his untouched pasta. And Mother, she perched in her usual spot, perfectly composed except for the slight tremor in her hand as she lifted her wine glass. The money needs to be returned, I said, breaking the suffocating silence. All of it. Mary, Robert's voice cracked slightly. There must be some mistake. Susan would never... Show him, I told her. Show your husband the accounts you've been hiding. Mother set down her glass with precise control. Robert, darling, I can explain everything. Can you explain the private school tuition? I pushed. The summer homes, The trips to Europe, all paid for with money stolen from Dad's company while he was taking out loans to keep it afloat? That's enough. Mother's voice turned sharp. You have no idea what sacrifices I've made. Sacrifices? The word tasted bitter. Like abandoning your first family to build a shinier version with Robert? I never abandoned you. Her mask slipped just slightly. I gave you everything. You gave me designer clothes and premium credit cards, blood money from Dad's company. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through the evidence. Want to see the transfers that coincide with every Christmas gift you ever gave me? Each one stolen from Dad's future, from his retirement? Robert reached for the phone with trembling fingers. Susan, please tell me this isn't true. It's complicated, she whispered. James made a choked sound. Mom, how could you? To give you a better life. She turned to him, desperate now. Everything I did was for you, for us. Stop lying. My voice cut through her excuses. It was for you. Always for you. The status, the lifestyle, the perfect family image. James and I were just props in your performance. That's not true. But her eyes darted to Robert, calculating her next move. Then explain the account password. I watched her face pale. James Robert 2008. The year you left us for your new family. The year you started stealing more aggressively to maintain your facade. Robert stood abruptly, his chair scraping against the floor. I need some air. Robert, wait. Mother reached for him, but he jerked away. Don't. He looked at her like he'd never seen her before. Just don't. The front door slammed behind him. James pushed back from the table, tears streaming down his face. I hate you, he whispered, then fled upstairs. Look what you've done, Mother hissed at me. Are you happy now, destroying everyone's lives? You destroyed them, Dad spoke for the first time, his quiet voice carrying more weight than our shouting. The moment you chose greed over family. Tom, her voice softened, trying a different approach. We can work this out. For Mary's sake, for James. Don't you dare use us as shields anymore. I stood up, planting both hands on the table. You have 24 hours to confess everything to Robert and arrange repayment, or I'm going to the police. You wouldn't. But fear flickered in her eyes. It would ruin the company's reputation, your father's legacy. Better ruined by truth than sustained by theft. I turned to Dad. I'm sorry, but I won't let her keep hurting us. He nodded slowly. I know, sweetheart. I know. Mother's composure cracked completely. You can't do this to me. I'm your mother. No. I headed for the door, pausing to look back at her. A mother protects her children. She doesn't use them as cover for her crimes. 24 hours, I repeated. Tick-tock. As I walked out, I heard something shatter. Probably her wine glass against the wall. But for the first time in my life, her rage didn't frighten me. I pulled out my phone and dialed. Everything okay? James answered immediately. Pack a bag, I told him. You're staying with me tonight. What about Mom? She has choices to make. I started my car. And so do we. Behind me, the perfect house with its perfect facade stood silent, hiding its rot beneath gleaming windows and manicured lawns, just like its owner. But not for much longer. Evelyn's garden always smelled of roses and earth, unchanged since I was a child hiding from Mother's tempers. Today, watching my grandmother's oldest friend tend her prized blooms, I felt that same desperate need for sanctuary. She's threatening to sell her company shares, I said, accepting the tea Evelyn pressed into my hands. To our biggest competitor. Ah. Evelyn's weathered hands stilled on her pruning shears. And how much would that hurt Thompson & Co.? It would destroy us. She owns 15%, enough to trigger a hostile takeover if she sells to Maxwell Industries. Your mother always did know where to plant her knives. Evelyn set down her tools, studying me over her reading glasses. The question is, dear one, what are you really trying to save? James's text lit up my phone. Mom's lawyer called Dad. They're fighting downstairs. I'm trying to save my family, I said, but the words felt hollow. Are you? Evelyn's voice carried the weight of decades watching our family drama unfold. Or are you trying to punish Susan? Can it be both? Oh, Mary. She touched my cheek, her fingers cool against my skin. Revenge is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. Your grandmother used to say that. My phone buzzed again. Robert, this time. We need to talk. Alone. Everyone wants to talk, I muttered. Nobody wants to act. Because action means consequences. Evelyn moved to her roses, deadheading with precise snips. Once you start this war, there's no going back. Are you ready for what that means? She started it 15 years ago. Did she? Evelyn turned, something sharp in her gentle eyes. Or did it start before that? With her own mother? With the expectations that shaped her? With the fears that drove her to value security above love? Don't make excuses for her. I'm not. I'm asking you to see the whole garden, not just the thorns. She handed me a perfect rose, deep red and just beginning to open. Understanding why a snake bites doesn't make the venom less deadly, but it might help you choose your antidote. My phone lit up again. Mother, you want the truth? Come home. Now. What would you do? I asked Evelyn. I would remember that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. She smiled sadly. And that family wounds cut deepest because they're inflicted with intimate knowledge of where we're most vulnerable. I stood, clutching the rose she'd given me. I can't let her win. The question isn't about winning or losing anymore, is it? Evelyn touched my arm. It's about what kind of person you become in the process. Another text from James. Mom's crying, actually crying. I've never seen her cry before. Go, Evelyn said softly. But remember, you can fight for justice without becoming what you're fighting against. The drive to Mother's house felt different this time. The security gate stood open, waiting. Robert's car was gone. Dad's truck sat in the driveway instead, its presence both comforting and ominous. Inside, voices drifted from the study. Dad's steady tone, Mother's sharp responses, James's quieter interjections. I paused in the doorway, watching them, my fractured family in tableau. Mother looked up first. Her mascara was smeared, her perfect facade cracked. I suppose you're happy now. Susan, Dad warned. No, let her speak. I stepped into the room. You wanted to tell the truth, so tell it. She laughed, a broken sound. The truth? The truth is I was terrified, of being nothing, of losing everything, of ending up like my mother, dependent on a man's charity until the day she died. So you stole instead. I secured my future. Her chin lifted. And James's future. What about my future? The words escaped before I could stop them. What about the daughter you left behind? Something flickered in her eyes, regret maybe, or just better acting. I left you with the stronger parent, the better person. She looked at Dad. I knew he'd raise you right. That's not good enough anymore. I pulled out my phone, showing her the Maxwell Industries email. Call off the sale, face the consequences, or I swear I'll... You'll what? She stood, suddenly dangerous again. Destroy everything? Burn it all down? Her smile turned razor sharp. Oh, my darling girl. You really are my daughter after all. The rose's thorns bit into my palm, drawing blood. Behind me, James made a soft sound of distress. And I realized Evelyn was right. This wasn't about winning anymore. It was about who I'd become by the end. Alex's fingers flew across his keyboard, screens of data reflecting in his glasses. Your mother's good, he muttered. But not good enough. I paced his cramped home office, coffee gone cold in my hands. What did you find? She's been moving money through shell companies, then routing it back through legitimate businesses. He pointed to a complex web of transactions. Look here, every transfer coincides with major life events. Your parents' divorce, James's birth, your father's heart attack. The last one stopped me cold. What? 3 years ago, large transfer, same day your father was hospitalized. Alex glanced up. You didn't know? My coffee cup cracked in my grip. Dad never told me about any heart attack. Keep going. The pattern changes after that. Bigger amounts, Riskier moves. Alex pulled up another screen. And this morning, she started liquidating assets, fast. My phone buzzed. Robert. Susan's gone. Took James. Left her wedding ring. She's running. The realization hit like ice water. Can you trace where the money's going? Alex's typing intensified. Multiple transfers. Wait, something's wrong. His screens flickered, numbers scrolling faster than I could follow. She's not just moving money, she's... My phone rang. Dad. The company accounts are empty, he said without preamble. All of them, even the emergency reserves. The coffee cup shattered on Alex's floor. How much? Everything, Mary. She took everything. Alex's voice cut through my shock. Mary, there's more. The transfers. They're not just to offshore accounts. Some of this money is going to Maxwell Industries, the competitor who wants to buy us out. My legs gave out and I sank into Alex's spare chair. She's not running. She's destroying us. Another text from Robert. James says she's taking him to Switzerland. Private plane leaves in 2 hours. Alex, I need everything you found, now. Mary, this is serious corporate espionage territory. He looked worried. If you use this information, she'll go to prison. The words tasted like ash. My mother will go to prison. Among other things. He hesitated. There's something else. These accounts? They're not all in her name. Some are in James's. My phone buzzed again. James this time. I didn't know Mary, I swear. She made me sign papers last year, said it was for college. She's using him as a shield. The realization made me sick. Making him complicit to protect herself. Alex printed documents, the pages warm in my hands. What are you going to do? My phone lit up with a final message. Mother. You wanted war, darling. Let's see how well you learned from me. 2 hours. A private plane. My 15-year-old brother being used as a human shield by the woman who taught me everything I know about betrayal. I need you to send these documents to 3 people, I told Alex. The FBI's Financial Crimes Division, the SEC, and Maxwell Industries Board of Directors. Mary, then I need you to delete everything, all traces of your involvement. He stared at me. What are you going to do? I stood, gathering the papers. I'm going to the airport. The authorities will handle this. They'll be too late. I headed for the door. She taught me too well, Alex. I know exactly what she'll do, because it's what I would do. That's what scares you, isn't it? His voice stopped me. Not that you'll fail, that you'll succeed and become exactly like her. I thought of Evelyn's words about snakes and venom, about the choice between justice and revenge, about who I'd become by the end. No, I said quietly. I'm scared that I already am like her, and that's exactly why I have to stop her. My phone buzzed one last time. Dad. Whatever you're planning, remember, she's still his mother. I stared at the message, then at the documents in my hands. 2 hours to choose. Destroy my mother completely, or let her destroy everything my father built. 2 hours to decide what kind of person I really was. The papers felt heavy as sin as I walked to my car. Behind me, Alex's printer whirred again, spinning out more proof of my mother's betrayal. More ammunition for the war she'd started 15 years ago. Time to finish it. The private terminal at the airport hummed with quiet efficiency. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, I watched Mother's chartered plane being prepped for takeoff. 40 minutes until departure. My evidence folder felt like lead in my hands. Security stopped me at the terminal entrance. Private access only, ma'am. My mother and brother are inside. I held up my phone, showing James's latest text. Help. Name. Susan Thompson Mitchell's daughter. The guard's expression changed. Oh, Mrs. Mitchell left instructions. You're not permitted. Mary. Robert emerged from the terminal, looking haunted. Let her through. Inside, Mother sat perfectly poised in a leather chair, designer luggage arranged around her like a fortress. James hunched beside her, shoulders tight with tension. Right on schedule, Mother said, not looking up from her phone. Though I expected the authorities, not a personal appearance. The FBI is coming. I moved closer, watching her fingers tighten on her phone. but I wanted to give you a choice first. How generous. Her smile was razor sharp. Just like I taught you, always keep one last card to play. Where's the money, Mother? Safe. Unlike Thompson & Co.'s future, she finally looked up. Did you really think I'd let your father's pathetic little company survive? After everything? This isn't about Dad anymore. No? She stood, all elegant menace. Then why are you here, Mary? To save your brother? Your father's legacy? Or just to prove you can beat me at my own game? James made a small sound like a trapped animal. Robert stepped forward. Susan, please, think about what you're doing. I have thought about it. For 15 years. Her voice turned bitter. Watching Tom play the victim, the noble businessman, while I was the greedy villain who abandoned her family. Well, if that's my role, I might as well play it perfectly. By destroying everything? My voice cracked. By using James as a shield? By securing our future? She touched James's shoulder. He flinched. Everything I did was for— Stop! James shrugged off her hand. Just stop lying. Mother's mask slipped just for a moment. James, I saw the papers you made me sign. He stood, moving away from her. I saw the transfers. I'm not stupid. Of course not, darling. I'm your accomplice. His voice broke. You made me help you steal from Mary's dad, from everyone. To protect you. To protect yourself! He was crying now. Mary's right. You use people. You used Dad, you used Mary, and now you're using me. Mother's face hardened. Sit down, James. No. Security, she called sharply. My son is having an episode. Please escort him to the plane. 2 guards approached. James backed away. Mary? I stepped between them, evidence folder raised. Touch him, and these documents go public right now. Every transaction, every shell company, every fraud. You wouldn't. Mother's eyes narrowed. It would destroy him too, I made sure of that. Try me. We stared at each other, perfect mirrors of determination and rage. Behind us, Robert's phone buzzed. FBI's here, he said quietly. 2 minutes out. Mother smiled, cold and triumphant. Too late. She pressed a button on her phone. Through the windows, the plane's engines roared to life. The money's already gone, she continued. Transferred and untraceable. By the time they sort through the evidence, I'll be established somewhere with no extradition. And if you push? She glanced at James. Well, the records show your brother's quite involved. Such a shame, destroying a 15-year-old's future. My hands shook. You'd sacrifice your own son? I sacrificed you, didn't I? The words hit like physical blows. Behind us, sirens wailed closer. Last chance, James, Mother said. Come with me, or face what's coming. James looked at her, then at me, tears streaming down his face. I choose Mary. Mother's mask cracked completely. For 1 second I saw everything, rage, fear, loss. Then her walls slammed back up. So be it. She gathered her bag. Goodbye, children. Thank you for the lesson in loyalty. As she walked toward her plane, head high and heels clicking, I realized something terrible. Even now, part of me still wanted her to turn around, to choose us, to be the mother we needed just once. She didn't look back. The FBI burst in just as her plane began to taxi. Too late to stop her, just as she'd planned, just as she'd taught me. James gripped my hand, both of us watching our mother disappear into the sky, leaving nothing but wreckage in her wake. Again. The FBI interview room felt smaller with each passing hour. James sat across from me, his statement finally complete, hands wrapped around a cold coffee cup. There's something else, he said quietly. Something I didn't tell them. My phone buzzed. An email from an anonymous account. The timestamp showed it had been scheduled days ago. Mom knew, James continued. She knew you'd find everything. She wanted you to. I opened the email. A video attachment and 3 words. Watch it alone. How do you know? James pulled out his own phone, showing me texts from Mother dating back months. She was testing you, setting up breadcrumbs, watching how you'd follow them. The interview room door opened. Agent Chen entered with fresh coffee. Ms. Thompson, we've located your mother's plane. It landed in Geneva an hour ago. She's not there. The certainty in James's voice made both of us turn. Check the flight manifest. Check the security footage. Chen's phone rang. Her expression changed as she listened. The plane was empty. Mrs. Mitchell never boarded. My phone buzzed again. Another email. Getting warmer. She's still here, I realized. This whole thing, the plane, the dramatic exit, it was theater. Your mother's signature move, a familiar voice said from the doorway. Robert stood there, looking exhausted. The grand gesture that hides the real play. I pressed play on the video. Mother's face filled my screen, recorded in what looked like her home office. Hello, darling, she said. If you're watching this, you finally caught up. Good girl. But you missed the most important lesson I taught you. Always look deeper. The camera panned to show her computer screen. Banking records, Thompson & Co.'s accounts, but not the ones we'd been investigating. Your father's heart attack 3 years ago? She continued. It wasn't stress, it was guilt. He'd been embezzling for years, hiding it through the same channels I used. I found out, covered his tracks, and took the blame. After all, her smile turned bitter. I was already the villain in your story. The room spun. She's lying, I whispered. The proof is in his private server, James said softly. The one she showed me last year. The one I've been helping her protect him from. All this time, my voice cracked. You both knew? She made me promise. Said it would kill him if you ever found out. James looked away. She said she'd rather you hate her than lose faith in him. My phone lit up with coordinates, an address. She's waiting for you, Robert said. Has been all along. The drive to the address felt endless. An old warehouse by the river. Mother stood outside, elegant as ever, watching the sunset. Did you ever wonder, she said as I approached, why I never defended myself? Never told you my side? Because you're guilty. Because you needed me to be. She turned, and for the first time, I saw real tears in her eyes. You needed a villain to fight, someone to blame for everything broken in our family. Dad would never... Check his server. Ask him yourself. She held out a USB drive. I protected him because he's a good man who made desperate choices, just like I protected you, by giving you an enemy to defeat instead of a father to lose faith in. Why tell me now? Because you're strong enough to handle the truth, and because... She smiled sadly. You've become exactly what I hoped, someone strong enough to protect this family even from itself. By becoming like you? By becoming better than me. She stepped closer. I made my choice years ago, accepting the role of villain to protect the people I love. Now it's your turn to choose, truth or comfort, justice or family. My phone buzzed. Dad, where are you? We need to talk. He knows you know, Mother said softly. The question is, what will you do about it? The USB drive felt impossibly heavy in my hand. Behind us, police sirens wailed in the distance. Time for my final choice. What would you do? I asked. Her laugh was surprisingly gentle. Oh, darling, you already know. You're your mother's daughter, after all. The sirens grew closer. We stood together, watching the sun sink into the river, two women who'd learned the same brutal lesson. Sometimes protecting the ones you love means becoming the villain in their story. Now I just had to decide. Was I ready to play that role? The USB drive sat untouched on my desk at Thompson & Co., next to the CEO nameplate Dad had given me this morning. His retirement announcement had shocked everyone except Mother, who'd known all along this would be his escape route. My office door opened. James slipped in, school uniform still on, looking older than 15. Did you watch it? Not yet. I touched the drive. Did you? Mom showed me last year. He settled into the chair across from me. That's when I started helping her protect him. Protect you. By letting me believe she was the villain. She's good at playing roles. He smiled sadly. Better than any of us knew. My computer hummed, waiting. Outside my office, I could hear the familiar rhythm of the company Dad had built, that Mother had protected, that now fell to me to preserve. The FBI's still looking for her, James said. They won't find her. I finally picked up the drive. She's where she's always been, watching, waiting, making sure we're okay. Are we okay? The question hung between us, heavy with everything we'd learned about family and sacrifice, about the roles we play to protect the ones we love. Dad's upstairs, I said, instead of answering, clearing out his office. Are you going to tell him you know? My computer asked if I wanted to open the drive's contents, evidence of Dad's desperate choices, proof of Mother's sacrifice, the truth that would shatter everything, or maybe heal it. What would Mom do? James asked softly. She'd protect him. I ejected the drive without opening it, like she always has. And the company? I stood looking out over the city, where somewhere Mother was watching her plan unfold exactly as she'd designed. I'll do what she taught me, protect our family, all of it. Even her? Especially her. I turned back to James. Want to help? His smile was pure relief. Always. We found Dad in his office, surrounded by boxes and memories. He looked up as we entered, guilt and love warring in his eyes. He knew that I knew, had probably known the moment I took the CEO position without questions. The board meeting's in an hour, I said. Your retirement announcement, my appointment. Mary, It's okay, Dad. I sat beside him, James on his other side. Some secrets protect more than they harm. He took my hand, then James's. 3 pieces of a broken family, holding on. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. Proud of you. I deleted it without responding. Some conversations were better left unspoken. Some debts better left unpaid. Ready? I asked Dad. He nodded, standing straighter. We walked together to the boardroom, where the company's future waited, where my mother's legacy lived on, not in the secrets she'd kept, but in the daughter she'd shaped to protect them. The nameplate on the boardroom door caught my eye. Mary Thompson, CEO. Inside, the board members waited. Outside, somewhere in the city, Mother watched. And in my pocket, the USB drive weighed nothing at all. I opened the door, ready to play my role. Ready to become what the company needed, what my family required. Ready to be my mother's daughter in all the ways that mattered. Ladies and gentlemen, I began, let's talk about the future. Behind me, James squeezed my hand once. Support, understanding, forgiveness. Dad took his seat, finally free of his burden. And somewhere, I knew Mother was smiling, satisfied that her greatest manipulation had succeeded, turning her daughter into someone strong enough to carry the weight of necessary lies. The truth could wait. Some secrets were meant to protect, not destroy. She'd taught me that, in the end, the final lesson from a mother who'd sacrificed everything, even her daughter's love, to keep her family safe. I straightened my jacket and faced the board, ready to begin my own story of protection and sacrifice. Ready to become the guardian my family needed, even if they never knew the cost. Just like she had.